the fifth section of lesson 78, we continue to look at the idea of things that are true or false in golf. And it's one thing to go for lessons with your PGA pro, it's another to listen to your mate in the bar. Well, I've listened to the pro first. So let's continue, and the big one is you've got to keep your head still. So you're playing golf, you're a novice, you're playing with your mates, or you're down the driving range and you hit a bad shot and they go, your head came up. The number of times you hear people say, keep your head still. And the fact of the matter is, you probably didn't lift your head. The trouble is, you think you did, so you jam your head down and the worse things get. So, true or false, does the head stay still in the golf swing? It's absolutely false. You've got the advantage, if you're watching Sky Sports and you see in super slow-mo, you've got a great opportunity to watch whether the head stays still. Some great players like McIlroy and Woods, their head actually drops down through impact. Okay, so I just put my driver to one side, and if we just imagine that I'm going back to the human wheel, my body is the axle and my arms are spokes. Now, very simply, the primary motor skill of the golf swing is the rotation of the torso. So my shoulders turn through 90 degrees. You can see that the spokes are now pointing towards the camera lens. I come back through. Now, in this attitude, with my body in an upright posture, my swing plane is as flat as ever going to be. I've got a very simple relationship between the body, which is my axle, and the arms that are spokes. Now, I can look at the camera and I can keep my eye on the camera lens and stay very, very central. My head doesn't really move at all. However, in golf, it's more complicated because somebody has glued the spokes of my wheel together. So, I now have the requirement I can only turn to here. I can't get to the full distance. So what has to happen is my forearms roll and rise to allow me to go to a fuller swing. Now, the moment your shoulders start twisting and coiling, then the head moves a couple of inches to the right. Now, it doesn't mean that you're swaying, because that wouldn't be great. What it means is that your head is moving a couple of inches because of the coiling and twisting of the shoulders. That's what makes it more complicated. So, with my driver, here's the posture, 90, 180, keeping my nose very still. Now the hands are glued together, they roll and twist, there'll be a hint of movement. Now, if you watch a pro play, he'll get a little bit of movement this way, and he'll go back to the ball. The amateur will go a little bit this way and then go through the ball. So don't worry about keeping your head dead still. My granny's 92 and she keeps her head very still. She can't play golf. Keeping your head still is not the cause of a good swing, it's the result of a good swing. If you're rotationally clever, if your body can coil on an axis, the head stays central but not dead still. So here we are with the driver. I now coil in plane. The shoulders twist, the arms roll and rise to plane. There's always going to be a little bit of movement. I then come back into impact and through. So, how do we deal with this? Does the head stay dead still? No, it stays central, and it's sufficient really for you to keep your eye on the back of the ball. If you're watching the ball throughout the swing, it's unlikely you're going to roll very much. And there's another bit of good news. I can sway 6 inches and the plane of my swing doesn't change drastically, but an inch of tilt is as damaging as 6 inches of sway. So sway, it's not the end of the world. Lots of great players have a bit of lateral movement in the swing. What we don't want is a tilt or a tilt this way. So you got it? An inch of tilt is more damaging than 6 inches of sway. You don't need to keep the head still, just focus on the ball. Here we go. So in the shaft, lean forward and build the grip. I'm focused on the back of the ball because that's where I'm going to hit. I'll do it for you in slow motion. I'm going to load the left shoulder under the throat. I know that my head has moved about 1.5 inches to my right, and now I release. So you can see, I lean forward, my head was central, not still, and I release through, But again, my head had to turn to fly to the ball. It's very limiting. If you're trying to keep your head down and you hit it, you scoop it off the back foot. The fact is that as you swing the club through the ball, the face turns. Now it doesn't change its axis, it doesn't lift or sway, it just turns to the side of the ball. If you're a fade like Trevino, then the head might move through the ball. So you can't say the head stays still, because with the fade mechanism, go back to Faldo in the Ledbetter days, Faldo used to hit shots and stand up. It was a baby fade mechanism. You see it a lot in Trevino. Trevino would go back, shut at the top, that swagger, and he'd walk after it, and that would be Trevino. So there's loads of reasons why the head doesn't stay dead still. So there's the question. Does the head stay still? True or false? False. The head stays central.